Alright guys, the April Fool's update just got way bigger, including a whole new secret game they finally collabed, and even more redesigns people missed. Let's get into it! With the new April Fool's update, there was actually a collab with another game called Midnight Fears, and this is where things get pretty interesting. That game featured the collab kid skin, but it wasn't just a cosmetic, it was an actual playable character. The way it worked was pretty similar to Cool Kid, but instead of the usual abilities, it had a dice ability that would roll and give you different effects each time, which made it feel way more unpredictable. Even though you could play as Cool Kid straight away without having to do any grinding, there was a skin for $3 called Alien Kid, which was basically a green reskin of Collab Kid. Then, when the April Fool's update finally dropped in Forsaken, they brought Collab Kid into the game properly, but it actually looks pretty different compared to the Midnight Fears version. The in-game skin had a bunch of custom animations, with the dice spinning around when you attack, which is sort of similar to Noli. This skin also includes a kill animation, which makes it feel much more than just a regular April Fool's skin. He does look like a Temu Aberrant version, but overall, it's still a skin that is worth trying in both games. There's a hidden part of the update where you can enter a secret game by going to a cabin and heading down into the basement. Once you go inside, it teleports you into something called Swapsaken, which is basically a completely new April Fool's game mode. It's heavily inspired by Forsaken from April 2024, but with a completely different twist. And the main idea of this mode is that everything is flipped. First, they added a brand new killer called the Swordsmaster, which is literally Shedletsky, but reimagined in a completely different role. Then on top of that, they took some of the original killers and turned them into survivors, which is where things get really weird. You've got the Poisoned, which is technically 1X, but it looks way more like one of his minions instead. Then there's the Corrupt, which is John Doe, but he actually resembles Jane Doe a lot more here, especially with how similar he looks to his Milestone 1 skin. And then probably the biggest change is the Kid, which is Cool Kid, but fully redesigned into his original version, 007 and 7. Even though these characters are now survivors, they still have similar abilities to before, just slightly weaker versions. The Poison still has Entanglement, but now it stuns the killer instead, and Unstable Eye lets you track where the killer is. The Corrupt still uses Corrupt Energy, but now there are only 3 spikes, and Digital Footprint is way smaller and doesn't slow the killer much at all. Cool Kid, or 007 and 7, got one of the biggest overhauls. His abilities are way more unique now, with things like Cool Gui, which works alongside pizza delivery, letting you spawn minions and teleport between them. He also has Walk Speed Override, which gives you speed 2 instead of a dash, making it feel more like Elliot's Rush R ability. Then you've got the Swordsmaster, who has a full set of new abilities. Lunge lets you leap forward and slash a survivor, and you can even chain it into a second hit if you time it right. It has a really long range, which makes it pretty strong. Launch lets you jump high into the air and slam down onto survivors from above, knocking them back and briefly stopping them. And then there's Band Blaster, which is honestly the most random one. You just pull out a gun and shoot survivors. It does decent damage, but you have to be quick with it. A lot of players have noticed that this moveset actually feels similar to Doombringer, especially with the jumping and slam style abilities. The Band Blaster is clearly more of a joke, but things like Lunge and Launch could definitely be early ideas for how Doombringer might play in the future. This whole mode is available for around 2 weeks, so you can still go in and try it out yourself. And honestly, is this just a fun April Fool's joke? Or is this actually hinting at future mechanics coming to Forsaken? Alongside the new mode, there were also several skins released, including one major change that caught a lot of people off guard. The MX skin actually lost its permissions and was completely removed from the inventories of OG players. In its place, they introduced a brand new movie skin, which was given out for free to those OG players and is now also available to purchase. This skin is based on Wiga, which is basically a color-inverted version of Luigi, and it even plays the weaker scream whenever you attack or charge, which just makes it even more chaotic. On top of that, the game has now started introducing voice acting into skins. As there is a new skin you can buy called voice acting, that a lot of survivors got custom voice lines, and while some of them are actually pretty well done, others are just straight up funny. Shedletsky's voice is honestly so stupid that it ends up being hilarious. Another big change is the complete redesign of the insane streamer slasher skin from last year. It now looks much closer to German 985, and it even comes with a new weapon, the time gun from Fallout New Vegas. They've also added a new gashing wound animation inspired by a Germa clip, along with an updated kill animation based on that same moment. Finally, the Raincoat 007 and 7 skin has received its long-awaited kill animation. It was originally given to the Soik skin, but after a lot of backlash, they moved it over to this one instead. It's still a bit buggy right now, so it'll probably need a few updates. What do you think of these skins?
Oh my god!
We originally saw Bomber's model quite some time ago, but after that, there was basically no news about the killer at all. It was said that Bomber wouldn't return from bowel necrosis, mainly due to complications with the design process. The person helping with the design wasn't fully familiar with Super Bomb survival, which led to issues around ownership and how the character should be handled. Because of that, it was eventually announced that Bomber had been scrapped entirely, which obviously disappointed a lot of people who were actually looking forward to seeing the character in-game. There was a pretty big discussion from the community arguing that Bomber shouldn't just be scrapped and forgotten, but instead repurposed into something better. And now, Hytoko has responded to that by saying that while there hasn't been a full announcement yet, they are planning to redesign Bomber and have a new version take its place. This actually lines up with a pattern we've been seeing recently, where instead of completely removing characters, they're being replaced with something new. Hytoko has even mentioned that every character is someone's favorite, so they don't like the idea of just deleting them without offering some kind of alternative. Even though Forsaken mainly uses decals, this update still seems to have affected how these characters look in-game. But it's not just the default survivors that were impacted, some skins were affected as well. One of these skins that were affected was Modern Shedletsky. This skin is supposed to have the epic face and is based off the Modern Shedletsky skin, but now it doesn't really match anymore. Instead of having that iconic look, it just looks angry, which completely changes how the skin feels. The Roblox update has basically altered it to the point where it doesn't even represent what it originally came from. And even though the new epic face doesn't smile anymore either, so technically they're similar, it still looks really off when you compare it to how it used to be. And this isn't just one skin either. We're starting to see the same thing happen across multiple characters. As with Builderman, the JJ5x5 skin is meant to have a smiley face based on the classic avatar, but now it just has a completely straight expression with no personality. This update is genuinely changing more than what people expected, especially when it comes to how these characters and skins actually look. So this went from being a smaller update to something pretty massive. Did you enjoy playing this update? Subscribe and hit the bell for more Forsakening it.